Murder in the morning from the Hidden Killers podcast.
Been paying attention to the show at all in the last year, you may have an inexplicable urge to not visit the hospital or a doctor's office anytime soon. Let us not be the reason you don't go, because statistically, you do have odds of getting adequate care. I'll say adequate. So don't let that make you change your mind about going in and checked up for something. But here's another story of a Pennsylvania nurse, this one facing new charges for alleged insulin poisoning patients. This is one where she seemed to kind of want to play the role of God. Pennsylvania nurse Heather Pressdee, already facing multiple felony charges for alleged harm to patients under her care, now finds herself confronted with dozens of new criminal charges. These charges accuse her of intentionally administering excessive doses of insulin to 22 patients between 2020 and her arrest in May of 23. The allegations extend beyond her initial accusations of killing 2 patients and attempting to kill a third while working at Quality Life Services in Chicora. Am I saying that right? I don't know.
I would go with Chicora.
Oh, Chicora. I always find the really hard way of saying something.
Well, yeah,
that make no sense at all. Chisoria. I don't know. Chicora, a small town
Chicora.
In the western part of her state. In a recent press release, Pennsylvania Attorney General Michelle Henry disclosed that Pressdee stands accused of poisoning an additional 19 patients, resulting in the alleged death of 17 of those patients while under her care. The charges assert that Pressdee administered substantial amounts of insulin regardless of the patient's diabetic status. Some of these patients required insulin to manage diabetes, while others did not have diabetes at all.
Well, and the thing is that the body uses up insulin, so it would be really hard to track it.
Yeah.
So if somebody had an overdose, by the time they would get around to doing the autopsy, they may not see it. They might look at blood sugar levels, but they might attribute it to something different. So this is a really sneaky way to basically euthanize human beings.
I don't know that we should be giving that information out. I did know that, though. I had heard that before on some of the stories that we've covered. Yeah, that can be one that is rather difficult to detect. Attorney General Henry said in the press release, the allegations are disturbing. It's hard to comprehend how a nurse trusted to care for her patients could choose to deliberately and systematically harm them. The damage done to the victims and their loved ones cannot be overstated. Every person in a medical or care facility should feel safe and cared for. And my office will work tirelessly to hold the defendant accountable for her crimes and protect care-dependent Pennsylvanians from future harm. These alleged insulin poisoning incidents occurred while Pressdee worked as a registered nurse at several healthcare facilities, including Concordia at Rebecca Residence, Bel Air Healthcare and Rehabilitation, Guardian, Quality Life Services in Chicora, Premier Armstrong Rehabilitation and Nursing Center, and Sunnyview Rehabilitation and Nursing Center. Quite a track record there.
Yeah.
One may question, why are you going from place to place? Authorities believe Pressdee often administered excessive insulin doses during her overnight shifts when staffing levels were lower and the resulting medical emergencies were less likely to lead to immediate hospitalization. Pressdee had previously claimed to have admitted to some of the incidents, stating that she felt bad for their quality of life and had hoped that they would just slip into a coma and pass away, as per the initial criminal complaint. However, prosecutors dismissed this explanation. Investigators uncovered Pressdee's history of disciplinary actions for abusive behavior towards patients and staff dating back to 2018. These incidents ultimately led to her being fired or resigning from various healthcare facilities. The victims involved in the case ranged from age 43 to 104 years old.
Oh, my God.
You make it to 104 and you get taken out by an insane nurse.
Well, and why, if there was disciplinary action for abusive behavior dating back to 2018, why was she still working in 2019?
Is this because it's a staffing crisis and people will take pretty much anything they can get?
I'd rather have nobody than somebody that's going to be abusive.
I'd rather go to the vet.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Sometimes there were times, and I worked in the vet industry for 8 years. We had some clients who actually said, I wish my general practitioner and my clinic was as good as you guys, because I would be getting premium care. And it's like, yeah, no shit. And yet people still bitch about the bill. All you guys want is money. It's like, it's a sad statement on our medical state of affairs. And trust me, there are wonderful, fabulous practitioners.
Sure.
And then there are shitty ones. And the shitty ones are the ones that we talk about.
Yeah. Pressdee had previously faced charges including 2 counts of homicide, 1 count of attempted murder, 1 count of aggravated assault, 3 counts of neglect of care out of a dependent person, and 3 counts of reckless endangerment. The recent charges announced on Thursday include 2 counts of first-degree murder, 17 additional counts of attempted murder, and 19 additional counts of neglect of a care-dependent person. The Attorney General's office clarified that the charging decisions were based on the availability of physical evidence to support the cause of death. Attempted murder is charged in the cases where the victims either survived the excessive dosage of insulin or the cause of death could not be determined, the press release explained. Oh, my goodness. Now, there were some other things in this, too, correct?
Yes.
She had some pet names for some of the things that she liked to do.
Yeah, she talked openly about her elderly, frail patients that she cared for. And she was being quoted as saying some of them just needed to die. And she had also reportedly told her mother in a text that she wanted to give a resident pillow therapy, a reference to smothering them with a pillow. She mocked people with intellectual disabilities, according to witnesses cited in the court records, and told her colleagues that a man with a brain injury didn't deserve to live anymore.
So this is someone who really has no empathy whatsoever. This is someone who is completely lacking, not capable, likely, of feeling any of it. And that's how they're able to execute a life like this.
Has to be. This is somebody who's playing God, who thinks that they get to make these decisions. I'm somebody who, I've seen a lot of euthanasias. I've performed a euthanasia with a veterinarian present. I kind of believe in human euthanasia, but I think it's something that somebody has to make that decision ahead of time. It's something I'm personally looking into for when I'm 80 some years old, but I'm making that decision for myself, not some fucking nurse.
Yeah, it can't be like, hey, what should we do today? Well, we got to get our quota of euthanasias. So let's go down go to floor 8 and room 402. It looks like that one could use one. Not how that works.
No, you don't get to make that decision for somebody else. If the family says it's time to let this person go, that's for them to explore and go down that path. It's not for somebody outside of their circle.
What do you do if your daughter texts you, I'm thinking about giving so-and-so pillow therapy?
Jesus.
I'm curious, how that's all playing out. Because obviously it made it to court.
Yeah.
So they have evidence that she's, insane and able to do these sort of things. But yeah, what do you do if you were to get a text like that? I don't even know. I'd be calling the hospital, I think, immediately. This is the text I just got. You might want to look out. But again, this is one where we look at this, and there's a track record here of moving from place to place to place, disciplinary actions. But I think what ends up winning out so many times these days is staffing shortages. There's no one. So either we have someone and we can stay open and do this amount of care, do this volume, but then the quality certainly goes down when you just kind of have the lowest on the totem pole, towing the line.
But this is somebody who's licensed by the state in which she works. This is somebody who nursing school is hard to get into. Why are you throwing your life away like this? I mean, we've talked about this with dentists and lawyers and doctors and, the incredible schooling these people go through just to end up in prison. I don't get it.
There's got to be some sort of joy that someone, I mean, and it kind of goes back to, what I think about when I think about like Kohberger. These people don't have empathy. These people don't feel a lot of anything in general.
Yeah.
So it takes very extreme events, or it takes them performing very extreme actions to feel anything. And I'm guessing maybe she got some sort of a thrill or some sort of something, just an inch of emotion out of doing something like this. And then that's the only time that she got it. And that's why she kept going back to do it over and over again, because nothing else was tripping that trigger, because there's something mentally wrong with this person.
It's almost like a fetish of sorts.
Yeah. But mentally wrong or not, someone like this, there's not a lot of recovery. It's just, this is one, lock them up, throw away the key, or I don't know, maybe, like I've said before, tainted ham.
Want to listen ad-free? Want advanced access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free,
so you can binge on true crime
until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.